chases me to the peak. Can we find any light without the music around? There will always be one love, one life. Without no love, you got no regret. Without no revenge, you got no love. A melody where I belong in this life. In this life.
Hi again, everyone, from Fitzgerald Stadium. Post 22 baseball is on the air tonight from the Superior Siding Black Hills Classic. Teams playing at two sites over the next 4 days. Post 22 hosting what is called Pool A. Pool B is over at Pete Lean Field, hosted by Rapid City Post 320. And for the Hardhats tonight, they will take on Sioux Falls West, who played last night across the parking lot and had a tough game as Post 320 defeated Sioux Falls West 14-4 last night. Post 22 coming off a road trip to Denver where they won 3 out of 4, had their 14-game winning streak snap when a young pitcher threw a great game against the Hardhats, a 4-hit shutout. Post 22 is 22-3. Sioux Falls West is 5-7. Happy to have Mark Benetti back with us. Mark, you had a nice little trip home for a couple of days to attend your brother's graduation, and he became a doctor.
Yeah, that was the most rewarding part of the trip, was hearing my brother referred to as Dr. Patrick Benetti when we got to the graduation hall at Lincoln Center. It was a great time to be with family. Got to see my grandmother and my father's aunts. My great aunt was there too to see it, and a proud moment for my grandmother too. She's seen us graduate through 8th grade, high school, college. She's seen my older brother graduate now in 3 major milestones with college, a master's degree, and now his medical school graduation. So it was good to get back home. I was keeping tabs all the way from New York as to what this team was doing in the Rocky Mountain State, and it seems that the bats just couldn't be silenced the first couple of games. And then, of course, Hardhats ran into some great pitching in the finale to the road trip, and it's unfortunate that the win streak is snapped, but when one ends, another begins. So here's hoping the Hardhats start a new one tonight.
Do you refer to your brother as doctor now?
I've called him Dr. Brother a couple of times just to see what the reaction is. He hasn't told me to shut up yet, so I'm going to keep doing it.
And how does he refer to you?
He has a plethora of nicknames that we go through. I think a couple of them aren't necessarily safe for the airwaves, but yeah. It was good to see him though, and it was good to just see his major accomplishment. And now before you know it, he turns right around and he is in Chicago right now getting ready for his anesthesiology residency in Rush Hospital in Chicago. So he had a very quick turnaround, got to celebrate for a little bit, got back to North Carolina and unwound for a day and jumped into the car with his bulldog, and they are now in the Windy City.
Well, that's good. Great to have you back again. These next 2.5 weeks are going to be very important because the final roster has to be decided shortly after the 1st of July. And we have some positions and some players, I think for the most part we know the team, but we don't know maybe a couple of positions because Mitch took 20 on the road trip to Denver. And so the battle for first place is really an interesting battle with Luke Ferdinand, Jack Sorensen, Will Moore, all in that battle for first base. And I think the pitching staff, again, we know who's been throwing well. Kyle McGuire, for the most part, is brilliantly. Colton Sherbinski has certainly been strong. And McSherry pitched a fine game in Denver, 6 shutout innings. Tommy Wall had 4 1/3 innings of shutout ball. But after you get by those first 3, we still need 2 starters, and we still need that stopper in the bullpen.
You're absolutely right. Now, with respect to the stopper in the bullpen, I think we're looking at one in Tommy Wall, because when he goes out there, you look at his statistics across the board. When he goes out on the mound, the kid is just dynamite. 19 innings, he has 23 strikeouts to 6 walks. That is the best strikeout to walk ratio amongst Hardhats pitching, a 1.474 ERA. He's only allowed 15 hits in the 19 innings, so he's kept that average down a little bit. 9 games in which he's come out to relieve, and he's 1 for 1 in his save opportunity. So I think we've seen a great bullpen presence from him. But you're absolutely right. For the rest of this team, there are a lot of question marks, and there's a lot of baseball to be played prior to when the deadline to get the roster is at July 1st. So you still got the firecracker to worry about. You have this tournament in front of you. But personally, Tom, I think the next 11 days are so important because 11 consecutive days this team is on a baseball diamond, whether it's here or in Montana or eventually in Pullman, Washington. I think this is the most important stretch for Coach Messer to figure things out.
Well, it will sort itself out over the next 11 games as we get set here to play Sioux Falls West, 5 wins, 7 losses on the season. Let's get the starting lineup for tonight's game. Here once again is Mark.
Leading off for Sioux Falls West is number 8, Kyle Gulbranson. He's patrolling right field. Batting second is number 6, Alex Fegan. He's patrolling center field. Batting third is number 10, Isaac Nelson. He is the shortstop, and in the cleanup spot for Sioux Falls West is number 7, Jack Simonson. He is the backstopper and catcher. Batting fifth is number 11, Carter Aids. He's playing at first base. Batting sixth is number 15, Matt Fegan, in the hot corner at third. Batting seventh is number 9, Mason Crow. He's patrolling left field. Batting eighth is number 4, John Rogers. He's at second base. And rounding out the batting order for Sioux Falls West in the ninth spot is number 2, Carlos Caro. And Caro comes in with 8 2/3 innings of work under his belt. This will be the third time he's played for Sioux Falls West, and his second by virtue of a start. He has a 1-1 record under his belt with 8 strikeouts to 2 walks and a .808 ERA. He'll face the Hardhats in the bottom halves of our 7 innings as follows. Leading off for post 22's number 11, Walker Paz at second base. Batting second is number 13, Zach Solano, patrolling right field. Batting third is number 22, Cooper Bowman at shortstop. And in the cleanup spot, the designated hitting role, is Eric Petrie. Great to see him back in the lineup. His 13-game hitting streak is on the line. Batting fifth is number 21, Timmy Paris, the backstopper and catcher for our starting pitcher tonight. Batting sixth is number 30, Jack Sorensen, playing at first base. Batting seventh is number 28, Zach Sumption, patrolling left field. Batting eighth is number 14, Justin Kramer. He's in the hot corner at third. And rounding out the batting order for the Hardhats in the 9 hole is number 12, Connor King. He's patrolling dead center. Holden Jackson is the starter for the Hardhats tonight. A very important start for number 26 on the mound. 12 2/3 innings of work under his belt. This will be his 9th appearance of the year and his second by virtue of a start. He has an 0-1 record under his belt, 1 for 1 in save opportunities, 7 strikeouts to 10 walks, and a 5.526 ERA. National Anthem's coming up, folks. We'll be right back with first pitch here on the official radio home of Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 57701. You don't have to try to hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152.
You won't be satisfied unless performance is coupled with integrity. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
Destin Human running that part of our operation tonight. A couple of scores from the opening day of the Superior Siding Black Hills Classic. Sioux Falls East defeated Albuquerque 13-3, and then Colorado Springs beat Albuquerque 9-3. So Albuquerque spanked in a couple of games. And over at Pete Lean Field, their first game was won by Cannon City out of Colorado. They defeated Upper Deck out of Montana 6-5. Post 320 will play Mountain View out of Colorado at 7. Same starting time as we have here against Sioux Falls West.
The Hardhats have taken to their respective defensive positions. That has Holden Jackson on the mound once again as the starting pitcher. 12 2/3 innings of work under his belt. His 9th appearance of the season, second by virtue of a start. 7 strikeouts to 10 walks and a 5.53 ERA. He's paired up behind home plate with his catcher, Timmy Paris. At first is Jack Sorensen. At second's Walker Paz. At shortstop is Cooper Bowman. And in the hot corner at third is Justin Kramer. Left to right in the outfield, Zach Sumption, Connor King, and Zach Solano for post 22.
Mark Holden came in relief in the 6th inning of that scoreless game. That post 22 lost 2-0, and he had some good velocity, but he walked that first man in the bottom of the 6th inning. And you know what that usually does, leads to trouble. And the next hitter tripled. They got one more run, and that was how that 2-0 game ended. So let's see with Sioux Falls. Kyle Gulbranson, the right fielder, leads off. He's a right-handed batter, and Holden's first pitch is high and off the mid of Timmy Paris, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. So we are underway at 6:53 this evening, and our game time temperature 77 degrees. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, a fastball away. 1 ball and 1 strike. As we said, Gulbranson, a right-handed batter, and he's hitting .400 on the season for Sioux Falls. 16 hits and 40 at-bats. He swings and drives one to right, but Solano is there a few steps to his right, and he makes the catch. Gulbranson out on a line drive to right fielder Solano, and that'll bring up Alex Fegan, the center fielder. Fegan is a right-handed batter, and he's hitting .318. No extra base hits. He does have 5 RBIs. He has 7 hits in 22 at-bats. And Holden Jackson's fastball is high for ball 1. Sioux Falls West, this just their 13th Legion game of the season. Here's the 1-0 pitch and a fastball strike on the outside edge. They're averaging 7.2 runs per game through the early games here. Team batting average of .298. A 1 ball, 1 strike count here in the top of the first inning. Jackson kicks and throws, and it's in there for a strike, and it's 1-2.
Good for Holden to battle back the way he has. His location's been great these first couple of pitches that he's thrown, especially that last one at the knees. Looked like it froze Fegan there to get him a 2-strike count.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Jackson swings into his windup, delivers, swing and a foul off to the right. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
Control is a big thing for this Hardhats pitching staff, especially with Holden. He has to keep things under control on the mound. Location is so critical.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. Fastball foul down the right field line.
Well, this is good on Holden here. He's attacking the batter. Obviously, as we've seen Fegan foul off the last 2, maybe even 3 pitches at this point. And here's hoping that doesn't really become a factor here, because then obviously his pitch count will go up. But it's good on Holden. He's not trying to skirt around the outside. He's attacking right off the hop.
Still a ball and 2 strikes here on Fegan with 1 out. The pitch on the way is high, and the count evens off at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Outfield is straight away. Mark, the post-22 defense in Denver was sparkling. They turned 7 double plays in the 4 games. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing another foul off to the right and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Next pitch from Jackson will be his 8th of this at-bat up against Fegan. So this is quite a battle we have early on.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's Hunter's pitch on the way, or Holden's. It's lined out into center field, and it's going to be caught by King, who had to back up a few steps after coming in. And there are 2 outs.
Like I said, it was a good battle out on the mound between Holden Jackson and Alex Fegan, and clearly Jackson wanted. He put the ball in play right to Connor King, who's just played some dynamite center field as of recently for this Hardhats club. So good to see Holden's on a roll right now, 2 up, 2 down. And he has Isaac Nelson, the shortstop, ahead of him.
378 for Nelson. No home runs and 7 RBIs. A right-handed batter takes a fastball outside. Nelson has a couple of doubles, 3 triples on the year. One of the areas Mitch Messer was talking about coming back on the bus from Denver was we need to start cutting down the bases on balls. Here's a fastball inside, and it's 2-0. And we talked about that in our broadcast from Denver. Too many pitches, too many walks. 27% of the runs scored against Post 22 so far this season reached on a walk. 2 balls and no strikes on Nelson. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a pop foul back to the left and out of play. 2-1 the count.
That's a heck of a number to drop there, Tom. I mean, just about a fourth of the runs you've allowed are not because you've made the opposition earn it. It's because you've handed it to them essentially. So that absolutely has to be cut down.
2 balls and a strike here to Nelson. 2 outs and the base is empty for West here in the top of the first inning. And Holden's fastball is high, and it's 3 balls and a strike.
And to that credit, Tom, I'd be interested to see, looking back at the game sheets, how many of these walks came when there were 2 outs. Especially, you got to be able to finish these innings, especially when the postseason comes around.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a foul back, and it's a full count. I'd like to see how many of those walks have come to the 8 and 9 hitters in the opposing team's order, because we've walked a lot of people down towards the bottom of the lineup. So we'll see how that plays out. I know Mitch was emphasizing that in practice with his pitchers this week, throwing spots and trying to cut those walks down. There's a little foul rolled in back of home plate by Nelson. The count runs along at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Trying to remember the series it was where the 9-hole hitter walked every time but one that he was up in the weekend. I think it was Cheyenne.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. A line drive foul off to the left. So the count still 3 balls and 2 strikes. Holden Jackson this year, 59% of the outs that he's recorded have been fly ball outs. And the first 2 hitters here have hit fly balls for outs. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Nelson. The pitch on the way. It swung on, another very high pop-up, and this is going to drift out of play past third base down the left field line. And the count still 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Mark, we have a game tonight. Look at Old Glory out there. Not much wind at all, and we haven't seen that much this year.
Right? Just wait 5 minutes before you know it. It'll be whipping all over the place.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Nelson. Holden trying to record a 1-2-3 first inning here against West. Talking with the Sioux Falls coaches, they thought the best team down in the Sioux Falls area this year might be Renner. Here's the pitch. There's a high fly ball out into deep left field. Sumption going back, looking up, and that ball is gone. Over the left field fence for Isaac Nelson on a 3-2 pitch. And Sioux Falls West jumps out to a 1-0 lead. That's just the second home run hit by West this season as a team here in their 13th game. And the man who has the other home run is coming up to the plate now, and that's Jack Simonson.
How many times have I mentioned, Tom, that the higher a pitch count gets in a one-on-one at bat, in a one-on-one battle like that, the pitcher will eventually make the mistake that'll break the camel's back. Well, there was Holden Jackson right there. He hung a ball up on a full count. We saw Nelson turn on a pitch foul earlier. That time he crushed it fair, no doubt.
And the pitch is an off-speed breaking ball. Hangs inside. Ball 1 to Simonson, who is hitting .256. But he does have 3 doubles, the other team home run, 1 home run, 14 RBIs, which leads the Sioux Falls West team. Right-handed batter, Jackson's pitch, and it's high and outside. Ball 2, and it's 2-0.
Now let's talk about these battles here for a second. Excluding the 2 pitches thrown to Simonson right now and the 3 to go Branson, there were 17 pitches between the 2 and 3 hole batters. And again, they just went long. They were marathons. Holden won one. He lost the second one.
And you have to give their hitter some credit, for fighting pitches off. There's a strike at the knees. And the count to Simonson is 2 balls and a strike. 1-0. Sioux Falls West has taken the lead here in the top of the first inning. A 2-out home run by Isaac Nelson. His first of the season. Simonson up with a count of 2 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch by Jackson, and he misses outside. And the count runs to 3-1. Sioux Falls averaging just over 7 runs per game in their first 12, 7.2. 3 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, drilled to center field. King going back, and that ball is going to be over his head, and it is over the center field fence. Jack Simonson hits his second home run of the season. Back-to-back home runs here by Nelson. And Jack Simonson, who hits his second home run of the season, and he drilled that ball over the center field fence, straightaway center, and that has to be at least a 393-foot home run plus a few feet.
Yeah, Tom, I'd have to agree with that. Heck, I'd even argue that was a 410-foot home run. I mean, Simonson absolutely drilled it, but again, it was another ball that was elevated in the zone. These Sioux Falls West hitters obviously have a lot of power at this point in the lineup, and they're just drilling it right now.
There's a bouncing ball hit by Carter Aids, the first baseman, to short. Bowman gloves it and throws to first baseman Sorensen for the out. Aids was hitting .419, which is actually the top average on the Sioux Falls team, but he's out short to first. First ball hitting. Back-to-back home runs for Sioux Falls West by Isaac Nelson and Jack Simonson. 2 runs on 2 hits, no Rapid City errors, nobody left. First half inning of play, Sioux Falls West 2. Post 22-0. And you're listening to the Hardhats on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 1949.
From the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box with Mark Benetti, this is Tom Rudebush. Mark, we want to recognize a couple of events, a couple of happenings this past week involving former Post 22 players. Congratulations to Tanner Kleberrad, who was named to the Carolina League All-Star team. Tanner is a relief pitcher in the Baltimore Orioles organization. And congratulations, Tanner, making the Carolina League All-Star team. And then we saw Sam Wolf, former Post 22 player, promoted to AAA in the Texas Rangers organization. Sam pitching now at Frisco. And congratulations to Sam Wolf. 3 years ago, Mark, at the Post 22 auction, I won a Sam Wolf autographed Post 22 jersey, which I have in my closet. I may have to break that out one of these games here and dazzle you with that. It's the baby blue Post 22. Sam autographed it, and, when he ends up in the Hall of Fame in 15, 20 years, that's going to be worth something.
Got to get a nice frame for it, and maybe a shadow box even.
Walker Paz will lead off for Post 22 against Carlos Caro. And the first pitch is bounced foul by Walker, hitting .341. Hit his first home run of the season last weekend in Denver. He's got 6 doubles, 14 RBIs. Chris Caro delivers, and it's a little bit low for a ball. He's won 1, lost 1 on the season, and has pitched only 8 2/3 innings in his previous appearances. Delivers a ball, and it's now 1-2. Apparently that second pitch was a strike. And the pitch, and it's high for a ball. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Caro's ERA is .81. 1 earned run in 8 2/3 innings. Walker pops a foul, backing out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. And teams against him this season are hitting just .200. So he's pitched some effective baseball for Sioux Falls West. And West leads here 2-0 in the bottom of the first inning. 2-2 on pause. The pitch is too high, and the count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Carroll's pitch. Lined out into left center field for a base hit. That's going to be extra bases for Walker Paz as he heads into second base, and he'll stop right there with a stand-up double, his 7th 2-base hit of the season. And Rapid City has a runner at second base. Nobody out here in the bottom of the first for Zach Solano.
I think the story of this first inning here, Tom, has been elevated fastballs that these guys are just drilling left and right. Kudos to Walker for finding the gap between left and center. You could fit a Mack truck there front to back, and he placed it so well. I think if he got a better jump out of the batter's box, we could have seen him gone for 3.
And Zach Solano rips a single through the hole to left field. They're waving Paz home, and the throw to the plate is cut off. Solano hitting .356 with 4 homers and now 30 RBIs as he hits the first pitch sharply through the hole to left field. Post 22 is scored. It's now West 2 and the Hardhats 1 here in the bottom of the first.
Well, good on Zach to see the first pitch that he saw in the strike zone, extended the bat out, got a nice push to it. Before you know it, it's in the hole between short and third, and the Hardhats are on the board.
And here's the pitch low and outside to Cooper Bowman, hitting .413. 3 homers and 24 RBIs for the right-handed batting post 22 shortstop. Fegan, the third baseman, is up on the edge of the grass, and there's a foul down and back. 1-1. Mark Cooper took a shot right into the face. It was such a terrible bad hop. A sharply hit 2-hopper out to him, broke his nose, and they got able to set it in the dugout. And he looks at a ball just outside, but he said there wasn't really a lot of pain, and which is remarkable. But anyway, Cooper missed the Sunday games because of that. Here's a throw to first base, and Solano is back.
So he takes a high-velocity projectile to the face and shakes it off. So with that description, you'd think he was a hockey player, but, hey, he just shrugged it right off. There you go.
He took a what to where?
A high-velocity projectile to his face.
Okay. Is that the same as taking a baseball to your face?
You could say that, yes.
Bowman with a count of 3 balls and 1 strike. Solano at first and nobody out, and Carroll throws over to first.
If I'm a post-22 base runner and I'm on first, I'm watching Caro. He's got a lightning-quick pickoff here.
3-1 on Bowman. The pitch is a ball outside. Cooper looked it over carefully, draws a walk, and that moves Solano to second. Eric Petrie returns to the lineup. Eric missed all 4 games in Denver with his knee issues. Back into the lineup tonight and picks up where he left off. He has a 13-game hitting streak going into the game tonight and leading the team in hitting on the season at .459. 5 doubles, 2 triples, 5 home runs, and 20 RBIs. So he steps in with Solano at second, Bowman at first. Bottom of the first inning, nobody out, 2-1 Sioux Falls, and the pitch misses outside, ball 1.
Good to see Eric back in the lineup. If he can start contributing like he was when he left the lineup, it's going to spell good things for the Hardhats in this stretch.
Off-speed breaking ball outside. Caro is not missing by a lot. He's missing, but it isn't totally wild. A couple of fairly close pitches there, but definitely balls. 2-0 on Petrie. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul tip. And it's 2-1. He kept that down and away from Eric. Two balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Hard ground ball and speared by the third baseman Fegan, and he will tag Solano going to third base. Sharply hit ball, but Fegan made the play, unassisted for the putout on Solano. Bowman goes to second, Petrie the base runner at first, 1 out, and Timmy Paris. Paris hitting .326, leading the team in doubles with 11, and in RBIs with 32. He has 2 home runs. Here's the pitch. A high fly ball, foul down the left field line. 1 strike.
If I'm Caro, I just learned the easy way. Thankfully for him, that was foul, but do not go inside on Timmy because he will turn that ball and he will torch it out of this park.
Sioux Falls has struggled defensively early in the season, as the pitch is a good one, a fastball on the low outside corner, and it's 0-2 on Paris. In their first 12 games, they have committed 23 errors, just about 2 per game. Post 22 is slightly over 1 per game on the season for errors. But Fegan made a good play there. Paris hits a little pop-up out towards first base. Oh, it's picked up by the first baseman who tags Petrie. Boy, that was hit either right off the end of the bat or right off the bat handle. A little flare out towards second. And Rogers fielded the ball and tagged Petrie going by. So Cooper Bowman goes to third. Now Paris is the runner at first. You don't see that too often. Back-to-back unassisted putouts, one by the third baseman, one by the second baseman. 2-1 Sioux Falls here. Runners at the corners, 2 out. Here's Jack Sorensen lifting a high pop-up right side of the infield on his first pitch. Jack was hitting .395, and the second baseman Rogers grabs it. And post 22's inning comes to a quick end. It looked very promising as the first 3 men reached, but they settle for just the 1 run on 2 hits in the first inning. No Sioux Falls errors and 2 men left on base. 1 complete here from Fitzgerald Stadium. It's the Superior Siding Black Hills Classic. Sioux Falls West 2, the Hardhats 1. You're listening to Post 22 Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Mark, we do have a special rule in this tournament that we also saw in Denver, and they do allow a courtesy runner for the catcher. So if the catcher gets on, they allow a pinch runner for him, and he can be the courtesy runner as many times as he wants to be in the game.
It's interesting to see certain tournaments adapting to that rule and adopting it as well. So, it saves the catcher his legs. They're on their legs, especially all that stress on their knees throughout the course of a game on defense. So you don't want to really wear him down that much. I think it's a smart rule, for sure.
Matt Fegan, the third baseman, right-handed batter, number 6 hitter for West, leading off against Holden Jackson here in the top of the second. And he takes a breaking ball inside. Matt Fegan and Alex Fegan are not brothers, they're cousins. And Matt hitting .276 on the season with 1 RBI. He swings and bounces a foul outside of third. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, Sioux Falls got to Holden with back-to-back home runs by Isaac Nelson and Jack Simonson in the top half of the first inning. Sioux Falls had hit only 1 home run through their first 12 games and hit back-to-back homers in the top of the first inning. Here's Jackson's 1-1 pitch to Matt Fegan. And a breaking ball catches the inside corner, an off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2.
Holden hasn't used his off-speed too much in the early stage of the game. That was a very clutch pitch right there to break from an even count. Now he's in the driver's seat, 1-2.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on and hit foul back to the netting. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now, if I'm Holden, If you recall in the first inning, when I got to his 2-strike count, he didn't crumble per se, but he got into a battle. You have to try and avoid these battles here. He's already fouled off one. Here's hoping it's the only one.
Here's the windup by Jackson. The pitch on the way. Breaking ball line down the left field line. It's foul by 2 or 3 feet. Fegan just out in front of that pitch a bit. Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Holden's pitch to Mac Fegan is swung on and missed. Looked like a breaking ball down and away. And Holden Jackson picks up his first strikeout. 1 out here in the top of the second. It brings up Mason Crow, the left fielder. Crow with 21 at-bats on the season for West. He has 4 singles, driven in 3 runs. Left-handed batter. And he looks at a pitch down low for a ball. It's 1-0. Overcast skies over Fitzgerald Stadium now. No forecast rain tonight. Very pleasant evening. There's a foul down the left field line out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now tomorrow, Post 22 will have 2 games. And we will not have the morning game on ESPN Radio. We will have it on Hardhats-TV. We will have the evening game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock against Albuquerque on ESPN Radio. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, dribbled foul up the first baseline. 1-2 on Crow. Mountain View will be the first game for Post 22. They are currently playing over at Pete Lean Field against 320. 1 out for West here in the top of the second. Bases are empty. 2-1 they lead. Jackson with a 1-2 pitch here to Crow. It's on the way. And it's a ball a little bit low. Some of the grandstand umpires thought that looked pretty good. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. And that's a strike over the inside corner. A called third strike on Mason Crow. He probably is thinking, gosh, that other pitch was a much better one than that one. And Holden has back-to-back strikeouts. We had an instant mark in Denver. This is true. And Kyle McGuire was on the mound as John Rogers steps in, the second baseman, right-handed batter. And he chops a foul off to the left. 265 for Rogers, 1 double, 2 RBIs. He had a 2-2 pitch, threw the pitch over the plate. The batter left the batter's box to walk to the dugout, thinking it was strike 3, but the umpire called it a ball. Everybody was going to the dugout, including the hitter. Pitch is down low for a ball to Rogers. It's 1-1. I've never seen that before.
And normally you see the opposite, where the batter, in the case of a 3-2 count, would take his walk to first. Wow, that's interesting.
1 ball, 1 strike, the pitch. Swung on, hammered foul off to the left beyond third base, and the count is 1-2.
I can only count on one hand so far, Tom, how many swinging strikes Holden's thrown, excluding foul balls. I think maybe 3 or 4. It's an interesting trend early on for Sioux Falls West.
There's a line drive into left field, a base hit between Kramer and Bowman. So Rogers has a 2-out single, hit number 3 for Sioux Falls West. They have a 2-out base runner here, and the number 9 hitter, their pitcher, Carlos Carroll. It's interesting that Sioux Falls didn't list him as the designated hitter instead of putting a position, because they cannot have a designated hitter now in the game. I'm sure there was a logical reason. Here's the pitch down and in for a ball. Carroll, left-handed hitter, 200 on the year. He does have 2 doubles, a triple, and 9 knocked in. Sorensen holding with Rogers at first base. Jackson looking over there. And the pitch. Swung on, lined out into center for a solid hit. Takes a big hop and goes right over the head of Connor King, who has to chase it down near the warning track in dead center. And that's going to allow the base runner Rogers to score. And Sioux Falls leads 3-1. An innocent-looking play. Just a solid line drive single to center, but the ball hit the turf and took a huge hop over the head of Connor King. So it'll be a double.
I don't think you could recreate that 9 times out of 10. That is the one time out of 10 instances that play will ever happen. That was just too random. Laws of physics didn't exist on that play. That was insane.
Here is Kyle Gulbranson, the right fielder, taking a strike. He lined out to right fielder Solano in the first inning. So Sioux Falls had 2 outs, nobody on. And here we go, the 8 and 9 hitters doing the damage in this inning. 3-1 the West leading. The pitch on the way. It's a check swing and a breaking ball and a weak swing by Gulbranson, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. So a tough break there for Holden Jackson. Leading from second is Carroll. He got his 3rd double of the year and his 10th RBI. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit to right field. Back goes Solano. He's got a beat on it, short of the warning track, and he makes the catch. Gulbranson lines out to Solano again for the 2nd time. But Sioux Falls comes up with a run on 2 hits. No Rapid City errors and 1 man left on base. So we move to the last half of the 2nd here. It's Sioux Falls West 3, Rapid City Post 22-1. You're listening to Hard Hat Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City. Lower third of the batting order for Post 22 against Carlos Carroll, who gave up a run on 2 hits in the first inning. Zach Sumption, who has a 10-game hitting streak, coming to the plate. Zach hitting .415. He's really hit the ball well. He came up. He had 20 at-bats with the Expos and then came up in the Cheyenne series and has been pretty much a fixture out there. If not in left field, he's designated hitter a couple of times. .415 average for Zach, and he started to hit with some power as he takes a fastball inside. A double now, 2 triples, a home run, and 12 RBIs for Zach Sumption. 1-0 pitch. That's in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Looked like he took some speed off a breaking ball, and it's 1-2. And the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, a fly ball into left center field. Back goes Fegan, still going back. He won't get it, and that ball is off the fence to the left of the 393 sign. And Zach Sumption is going for third, and he is going to make it. He hesitated coming around second, and if the throw would have been a little stronger by Nelson, the shortstop, they might have had a play on Zach, but in any event, he has his 3rd triple of the season and extends his hitting streak to 11 games in a row.
What a great piece of hitting from Zach Sumption. That was remarkable.
Here's Justin Kramer taking a pitch at the knees for a strike. Mark, the ball is carrying tonight. And, I've always wondered what creates that every once in a while, but the ball is getting up in the air and it's moving. Fastball is high to Kramer, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. 375 for Justin on the year. 4 doubles, 2 homers, and 10 RBIs. Here's time called. So Post 22 trailing 3-1 here in the bottom of the 2nd. The Sioux Falls West has A leadoff triple by Sumption, and Kramer at the plate with a 1-1 count, and he bounces a foul ball outside of third. 1-2 the count. Connor King is on deck. Post 22 hitting .343 as a team, averaging 10.6 runs per game. And the pitch is high. 2-2 on Kramer. And the 2-2 pitch. A high drive to left center again. Fegan running after this one. They won't get to it. That's off the fence, right beneath the scoreboard. Stand-up double for Justin Kramer. Sumption scores to make it 3-2 Sioux Falls.
One time a wise man named Tom Rudebush said that the ball is carrying tonight. It has been recorded in the annals of history, and sure enough, that's exactly what's happening tonight. This ball is carrying. Justin Kramer got some great contact on that, but I've noticed the trend with these carrying balls. Outside of the two that Sioux Falls has hit out on the park, they've kind of died on their way towards the wall. So that's going to be something to watch for. The Hardhats need to put a little more power if they hope to get that same result.
And there's a pitch down in the dirt, getting away, and going to third is Kramer on a wild pitch. Connor King will be at the plate with a .250 average. 3 doubles, a home run, and 17 RBIs for Connor, batting left-handed. Kramer at third. He represents the tying run now. The pitch. Low for a ball. Carroll doesn't waste any time out there on the mound either. He gets the ball, and he's throwing it home.
It's the bane of our existence. We got to get our thoughts out quick.
Infield is deep. They'll allow the tying run to score for an out. And there's a strike to Connor, and it's 2-1. Connor missed the 2 games on Sunday in Denver with an ankle injury. Hardhats played without King, Bowman, and Petrie in that doubleheader. Pitch is inside. 3-1 now on Connor King.
And Tom, if those 3 guys are on, that's a third of your offensive lineup. That makes a big difference.
Boy, their center fielder, Fegan, is really playing deep in center. Here's the pitch. And it's inside, ball 4. So King walks. Runners at first and third with nobody out for post 22. And now the Sioux Falls coach is headed to the mound.
Joel Sage.
Yeah.
It looks like he's bringing everybody in right now to have a quick word. I'm going to point out a very interesting trend I've noticed as well here too, Tom. You look to Sioux Falls West on offense. They can't hit their first leadoff batters in the innings. They can't really get anything to go. 2 flyouts, 2 strikeouts. They get 2 outs. They're smacking the ball around left and right. They have 2 home runs, and they've scored 3 runs when it's 2 outs. When the Hardhats have no outs, they're smacking the ball. And when they've got 2 outs, they can't get anything rolling either. So I don't get that. That's just a funny trend that I saw there. Sioux Falls can't hit unless there's 2 outs on the board, and the Hardhats haven't hit unless there's no outs on the board. So just the fun part about baseball. There's so many weird trends and stats you can look into.
Walker Paz doubled to left center and scored in the first inning. Post 22 now has 4 hits in the game. Good block by the catcher Simonson, a pitch down in the dirt. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. We had a lot of people arrive late for this game. It's not a great crowd tonight, but it sure is a lot better than it looked like the first pitch was delivered. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on, tapped up the first baseline. It's foul. So the count all even on Walker at 1 ball and 1 strike. Kramer at third, King at first, nobody out. Last half of the second, Sioux Falls West with a 3-2 lead. And a quick throw to first base, and getting back is King. The other Sioux Falls team played their first game today and beat Albuquerque 13-3. Sioux Falls East. Post 22 plays East on Saturday night. There's a high fly ball down the left field line. That's a tough ball to reach, and it's going to drop fair. It's going to score a run. 3 people chasing it. Crow, the left fielder, Nelson, the shortstop, and Matt Fegan, the third baseman. The ball dropped about a foot fair down the left field line. Of course, nobody could run because if it was caught, of course, that would set up a double play. So only Kramer scores. King goes to second, but he couldn't go any farther than that, thinking the ball was going to be caught. Walker has his 15th RBI of the season. So it's a 3-3 game now here in the bottom of the second. And Zach Solano, who singled to left to knock in a run in the first inning, steps up. And Zach looks at a strike at the knees on the outside corner. Solano's RBI was his 30th. He's second on the team. He taps one back, knocked down by Carroll at the mound. He'll go to first base for the out. He looked to second, but decided to get the sure thing at first base, and Solano's out pitcher to first, but it's a very productive out as it moves Connor King to third and Walker Paz to second with one away.
Tom, I remember a couple of games ago, you and I were talking about issuing a team error when it comes to a three-man scramble trying to catch a fly ball that's dropped. Obviously, responsibility's on the left fielder in that case, but I think that's one of those instances where you would assess that team error because it obviously caused some damage.
Bowman squibs a foul off to the right, one strike. Cooper walked his first time up. Normally, I think that's a ball that your left fielder should get to. The shortstop may have an opportunity to catch that, but that's a tough play for him. And the third baseman is usually non-existent in a play like that because he's running with his back straight down the foul line, and it's hard for him really to judge anything. So it was a tough play, but I thought Crow, the left fielder, probably could have gotten to that ball. One strike. The infield is deep. Here's the pitch. Line to center field, and that is going to be in for a base hit. It's going to roll to the fence. King has scored. Paz has scored. A two-run double for Cooper Bowman. Boy, there have been some hard hit balls in this game tonight. Cooper getting his 10th double of the season. He now has 26 RBIs. It's a 4-run second for Post 22, and they lead 5-3. And they now have a total of 6 hits in the game. And here's Eric Petrie, who hit into a third, force out of third base his first at bat. He pops this one up, coming back here, and it's out of play. One strike on Petrie. The way the ball is carrying tonight, I'd like to see Eric get a hold of one and see where it ends up.
Might be calling NASA. It could be in orbit.
Pitch is low and outside, a ball. And it's 1-1. Runner at second is Bowman. He had a 2-run double to put Post 22 in front. Eric hits a ground ball to third. It's a fair ball behind the bag. Fegan knocks it down but has no play. So there'll be an error on the third baseman of Sioux Falls. He was a couple of feet behind the bag had he fielded the ball cleanly. He had to try to backhand it. But it's a play that should have been made. And here's Timmy Paris up. Bowman had to hold at second with the ball hit in front of him. So one out, runners at first and second, and Timmy Paris up. And he takes a pitch low and outside. Timmy hit into a force out at second base his first time up. 5-3 now. The Hardhats lead here in the bottom of the second. Here's the pitch. And a strike just on the low outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the pitch. Line foul down the left field line. 1-2 now on Paris.
If Timmy waited even a half a second more before he swung, that would have been bases clearing, or he would have torched it out of the park. He recognized the off-speed pitch perfectly, but he just missed it by about a half a second. he was any earlier, or I'm sorry, any later, it would have done some serious damage.
Takes this pitch down in the dirt for a ball, and it's 2-2. Bowman at second, Petrie at first. It's been an offensive game so far, with Post 22 leading 5-3 here in the last half of the second. Carlos Caro from the set now steps out. Does the hitter Paris? Here's the set and the pitch. Outside, a ball. It's a full count on Timmy. Sioux Falls looking for a possible double play ball. They've turned 8 DPs this season in 12 games. Here's the set by Carroll. Big pitch here, and he misses outside. Not close on that pitch, and that loads the bases. A walk. That's the third walk Carroll's given up. And Jack Sorensen comes up. And there we're going to have the pinch runner for Timmy Paris. Carter Deming is going to run for Paris. So the bases are loaded with one out. Jack popped to second his first at bat, hit the first pitch, but takes this one high and inside for ball one. Still only one out. Carroll's pitch. And that's a strike, a fastball on the outside edge. 1-1 on Jack Sorensen. Hitting sixth in the order. Bowman from third, Petrie from second, pinch runner Deming from first. And there's a bouncing foul towards the Rapid City third base dugout. And it's 1-2 strikes. Two games tomorrow. 4 total games here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Here's the 1-2 pitch. A little nubber up the first baseline, but it rolls foul. And it's 1-2 strikes still on Sorensen. Again, Post 22 will play Mountain View out of Colorado at 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll have that game on Hardhats-TV via post22baseball.com. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Albuquerque, with both the TV on the internet and ESPN radio. Line shot right past the pitcher into center field. Bowman scores. Petrie's coming home to score. It's a 2-run single for Jack Sorensen. It's a 7-3 now lead for Post 22.
A well-hit ball by Jack Sorensen. He almost took off Caro's leg. That was well hit right up the middle, and solid contact, a way to fight through it as well. He was behind in that count 1-2.
Here's Zach Sumption taking a pitch in the dirt. Deming at third now and Sorensen at first. Sumption tripled to left center field to start this inning. 7-3 now, the Hardhats leading. They have 8 hits in the game. Here's the pitch. Foul back. 1-1 the count on Sumption. Here's a throw to first base, and the runner gets back.
I've said it already, Tom. If I'm a runner on first, I'm worried because Caro has been spot on with those pickoffs.
1-1 strike. Here's the pitch on the way. It's swung on, drilled into right field. Running back is Branson, the right fielder, and that ball is off the fence. In the score is Deming. Sorensen will stop at third. It's a double and an RBI for Zach Sumption. And all of a sudden, Zach has just been hitting with power. He's had a triple and a double in this game. That's 6 extra base hits, all in his last 6 games. And here's Justin Kramer up. 8-3 now, Post 22 leading. And a strike called on Kramer, who doubled to left center earlier this inning.
By the way, Tom, we now finally have action in the Sioux Falls West bullpen.
Infield is back. Pitch is swung on, chopped towards short, fielded by Nelson. Here's a long throw to first, and it is scooped out by Aids at first base. So Kramer is out. And holding at second base was Assumption, but coming in to score is Sorensen. RBI for Kramer, his second of the game, his 12th of the year. And it's now 9-3 post 22, and the batter is King here with 2 outs, and Connor hits a foul back and out of play. Connor walked his first at bat in this inning. An 8-run second inning for post 22. Here's the pitch. Fly ball left field. Here comes Crow. And he's under it out there. No, he misplays the ball. In to score is Sumption. The ball hit his glove, fell to the turf, and there's another error. No RBI. That should have been the 3rd out of the inning. And it's now 10-3 Hardhats.
How costly an error was that, Tom? That was a 2-base error. So now all of a sudden you just swap places. You've got another man in scoring position to worry about.
Here's Walker, paws up, and the pitch is down low for a ball. Walker has a double to left center and a single to left and an RBI. 10-3 Hardhats lead. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, an off-speed pitch. I don't know what it looks like to you, Mark, but to me, it just looks like the post 22 hitters tonight are so zeroed in. They are seeing the ball extremely well. Breaking ball in for a strike, and it's 1-2 on pause. I mean, there is nothing between the ball and the bat. They are smoking a lot of these pitches.
Absolutely right. They're zeroed in, focused, whatever you want to call it. They are dialed in tonight.
Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, the runner going to third, and he'll be safe. Wild pitch. Pitch bouncing to the plate. King now at third with 2 out. Walker's the 13th man to bat this inning. 9 runs and 7 hits. Here's the pitch. Foul back. And it's still 2-2. And a swing and a miss. And here's the throw going down to first base. The pitch was in the dirt, and Walker Paz is out. Well, I've got a total, I guess, here in this inning of 6 hits. We have a total of 9 runs in the second inning. Sioux Falls had a couple of errors, and a man was left on base. So we go to the 3rd inning now. At the end of 2 complete here at Fitzgerald Stadium, the Hardhats 10, Sioux Falls West 3. From the Anytime Auto Sales press box. And we are on ESPN Radio Rapid City.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Great faces, great places. Wet paint? Yep. And around here, when great places need a little love, great faces band together. Each year, First Interstate Bank employees help local organizations put a fresh coat of paint on homes of those in need. A small gesture, perhaps, but one that puts smiles on faces and strengthens bonds in the places we serve. First Interstate Bank. It's you and I together.
Leading off for Sioux Falls here is Alex Fegan, the center fielder, against Holden Jackson, who delivers down low for a ball. The next pitch is lined out into right center for a base hit. Over is King to pick it up. And Fegan has a solid single to right center to start the top of the third inning. And that's hit number 5 for Sioux Falls West. Fegan had lined out to center his first at bat. Here's Isaac Nelson, the shortstop, who hit his first home run of the season over the left field fence in the first inning for Sioux Falls. Right-handed batter, Sorensen holding with Alex Fegan. And Jackson's breaking ball is outside. 1 ball the count. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball inside, 2-0. 320 put up a big inning on West last night. I think they had 8 runs or 9 runs in the 4th inning of the game last night. 320 beat West 14-4 over at Pete Lean Field. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Bounced foul off to the left. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Nelson, the number 3 hitter for West. Post 22 on the season with 29 double plays in 25 games and 27 errors. More double plays than errors so far. Big breaking pitch misses outside. Fegan at first base with nobody out. Three balls and a strike. Here's the set by Jackson. The pitch on the way. It's swung on, hit up in the air to center field. King going back. He's on his horse. He won't get to it. That ball's off the fence. Heading around third is Fegan. He's coming home. Bowman's relay to the plate is in time. Great tag by Timmy Paris. A sweep tag by Paris, who caught the ball just to the third base side of home plate. Fegan tried to slide to the right of the plate, and a sweep tag by Timmy Paris with the glove, with the ball in the mitt, takes care of Fegan at the plate.
What a play. Absolutely what a play. Not the greatest throw from center. That was all made by Cooper Bowman. The second that ball was in his hand, it was just as quickly out. My goodness, what a defensive play.
So Nelson has a double. He stands at second, and the pitch is low for a ball to Simonson, who hit a home run. He drilled a pitch over the center field fence, straightaway center, in the first inning for his second home run of the year. Kind of surprised Sioux Falls tried that with nobody out. Trailing by 7 runs, you can have second and third, nobody out. Here's the pitch. And it's a ball down low, and Holden behind 2-0 now on Jack Simonson.
And to that point there, Tom, you think you're getting momentum with a big double right there all the way to the wall. Think you're getting momentum, all of a sudden it's killed because of a play at the plate, and a great one at that.
2 balls and no strikes, and the Sioux Falls West cleanup hitter, Jack Simonson. Nelson leads from second, and Holden delivers ball 3.
I still can't get over that, Tom. That was absurd. That was just absurd.
Simonson with a count of 3-0. But again, that ball carried. This is by far and away the most I've seen the ball carry here. There's ball 4, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Simonson. So, Sioux Falls West is runners at first and second with 1 out here in the top half of the third inning. Post 22 out in front, 10-3. Carter aids up the first baseman. Number 5 hitter grounded out to short his first at bat. Came in as the leading hitter for Sioux Falls at .419, right-handed batter. Jackson's pitch. Big breaking ball in for a strike. 0-1 the count.
I love Holden's breaking pitches because the break on them is so dramatic. It absolutely just tears your vision apart in that batter's box. Especially when the ball like that has the illusion of coming into you and then breaks right over the corner.
That breaking ball misses low and inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
But if his break is working, that means his follow-through is good. He's got a good grip on the ball, too, and he's sticking to his guns on it. He's placed it very well.
Here's the pitch. And it's low and outside. 2 balls and a strike on aids. You know, thinking of Cooper Bowman's throw to the plate there and the nice sweep tag by Timmy Paris, I wonder how many runs Cooper Bowman has saved the pitching staff this year. On ground balls, on throws. 2 balls and a strike. Pitch on the way, and he misses outside. It's 3-1. And you think right now this could be a bases loaded, nobody out situation, and a 3-1 pitch coming up here to aids. But instead, a little ground ball could end the whole inning with nothing for Sioux Falls. But Jackson's got to make the pitches. Here's the 3-1 offering. A ground ball hammered through the hole to left, though. A base hit. And they're going to wave home Nelson, and the throw to the plate is wide, but they stopped Nelson. He got around a third of the way around third base, and that time, if they would have let him come home, he would have scored because the throw was about 10, 12 feet up the first base line from home plate.
Actually, Tom, rounding third, Nelson blew out an edge, and he went stumbling into the coach's box and immediately had to regain his footing. So it was very tough. Blew out an edge, blew out a tire. He fell, essentially. I'm using my hockeyisms here, but yeah, he fell. He took a bad stumble out of that gate, and now he's getting briefly looked at there by his coach. So, and while his third base coach is taking a look at him at third, Jason Hers is going to come out and just disseminate some orders here to his infield defense and to Holden Jackson. And you made a point earlier, Tom, that Holden needs to make these pitches to get out of this. The 1 ground ball could end the inning. You're absolutely right, no doubt about that. But like you did say, he's got to make those pitches. We saw Holden earlier in this game was so confident with his breaking pitch, so confident with his fastball, and now he's starting to pull that cutesy little, well, let's frame it here, well, let's frame it here. If I'm Holden, your defense has been playing dynamite tonight. Let them do the work. Attack the batter, try to put the ball in play, and see what happens from there.
Boy, Sioux Falls West is finding it very difficult to score. They sent a man home, thrown out at the plate. Runner rounding third, trying to come home, stumbles and falls. They've had 3 hits and a walk this inning and no runs. They've had a double, 2 singles, and a walk and no runs. Well, they'll have a chance here with Matt Fegan, the number 6 hitter, the third baseman, who struck out swinging in the second inning. They're attending to the runner at third base. That's Nelson, who went stumbling, as Mark said, over third base. And the post 22 trainer is out to look at Mr. Nelson. Other scores today: Sioux Falls East 13, Albuquerque 3. Colorado Springs 9, Albuquerque 3. Those games played here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Over at Pete Lean Field, in extra innings, a 9-inning ball game saw Cannon City, Colorado defeat Upper Deck, Montana 6-5. Over at Pete Lean Field right now, it's post 320 against Mountain View from Colorado. And it looks like they're going to have to bring Nelson, their best player, out of the game.
That's a tough blow here for Sioux Falls West, considering that not really much has gone right for them tonight, outside of a home run from the gentleman coming off and Isaac Nelson, and then Jack Simonson's home run as well. Not much else has gone right for them. They gave up a 9 spot in the bottom half of the second inning that they just defended. They had the play at the plate that took away a potential run that could have had bases loaded if they didn't send the runner, and they're just an unfortunate scenario all around. So trying to catch the license plate right now of the gentleman taking his place, and if I saw that correctly, that is number 5. That's Brenton Bartles. Excuse me. So Brenton Bartles will take over for Isaac Nelson.
We'll see if he also takes over at shortstop. He'll at least run here for Nelson. So Bartles is in. That is really a tough break for Sioux Falls. Boy, you hate to see good ball players leave games because of injuries. So here is Fegan up now with the bases loaded. 1 out. Holden Jackson delivers, and a good breaking ball over for a strike. 0-1 the count. And the pitch on the way. And a breaking ball inside. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. I thought Fegan may just stand in there and let that ball hit him.
And take one for the team if you're Sioux Falls West at this point.
1-1. Infield double play depth. Outfield straight away. Jackson into his motion. The pitch to Fegan. Swing and a miss. A pitch down. And it's 1-2. Fegan came into the game at 276 on the season. One and two as Jackson is ahead on the count. Here's the pitch on the way. Struck him out with a fastball away. Second time that Jackson's been able to strike out Fegan. Third strikeout for Holden in the game. And that'll bring up Mason Crow, the left fielder. He was called out on strikes in the second. Here's the motion by Jackson. His pitch. Swung on, a fly ball to center. Drifting to his right is King. Connor's under it. He's got it to retire the side. Well, we'll look back at this inning from a Sioux Falls standpoint. This may have taken them right out of the game. They have 3 hits in the inning. They had 2 singles, a double plus a walk, and failed to score. No runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 3 men left on base. We go to the last half of the third inning. Post 22-10, Sioux Falls West 3. You're listening to Post 22 Baseball from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
With more than 300 pediatric experts in 35 specialty areas, Sanford Children's offers the care that matters to your family. At the Castle of Care, we are committed to bringing in the latest and most advanced technology and services to care for your children. And having the largest team of specialists in the region means your child can receive expert, individualized care close to home. At Sanford Children's, we promise to put your family first. To learn more, visit childrens.sanfordhealth.org.
Carlos Caro is still in the game for West. However, they have moved their second baseman, Rogers, over to play shortstop now for Nelson, who left the game with an injury. And Bartles, who came in as a pinch runner, will go into the game and play second base. And he will bat in the number 3 spot vacated by Nelson.
And a tough injury to Nelson there, too, Tom. And I've replayed this in my head a couple of times. And at first I thought when I saw it initially, oh, he just stumbled. He'll rub some dirt on it. It'll be all right. But stumbles, especially in baseball, are not nearly as simple nor as painless as they seem, because you have to keep in mind, if you're sprinting around the base path and a scoring chance like he has, you're going full blast. You're turning in on an angle. By the way, you have to step on an object. Then you have to try and gain traction. You're wearing cleats. It's not a natural shoe to be running in. And before you know it, you're just flailing all over the place. You could tweak something. It's not necessarily as simple as it looks.
Zach Solano looks at a strike on the low outside corner. Zach has a single to left and an RBI, and he's tapped back to the pitcher. He swings and lifts a fly ball down the left field line again, and this is going to be a circus. And it's the shortstop who makes the catch. A nice play by Rogers, who just went over there from second base. And that was almost identical to the play we saw earlier in the game that fell off the bat of Walker Paz for a hit. But the shortstop, boy, that was a good play by Rogers. That is not an easy play. Here's a pitch for a ball to Cooper Bowman. It's 1-0. Cooper with a walk and a 2-run double to center. Caro's pitch is hit right back up the middle. Second baseman can't get it. Diving to his right. Bowman around first base will hold up with a single. So Cooper's 2 for 2. Here's Eric Petrie, the designated hitter. Eric has hit into a force out at third and reached on an error. He's 0 for 2. Here's the pitch. And it's low and outside, ball 1. Looking forward to a lot of baseball here at Fitzgerald Stadium this weekend. First major tournament of the year. High fly ball into right field off the bat of Petrie. And under it is Gulbranson, and he makes the catch. Back to first goes Bowman. Petrie out on a fly ball to right. So that'll bring up Timmy Paris, the catcher, who has hit into a force out and walked. So Carroll, you have to give him a lot of credit, taking the mound here in the third inning. He's got 2 outs with a runner at first. 10-3 post 22 leading. Look how deep their center fielder is. Pitch is a ball outside. And he's shaded over towards left center field now on Paris. 1-0 on Timmy. And they have picked the runner off first base, Bowman. He's being run back to first base, and there's the tag, and Cooper is out. Well, you talked about his move earlier, Mark, and Carroll picks off Bowman there to reach.
To hit a home run when you're hitting singles and doubles all day. Consistency wins games, and it's key to helping achieve your retirement goals. At Weitzel Financial Group, they believe they're there to help with your own ideals and goals. Head toward your field of dreams. Call Weitzel Financial Group for a consultation at 348-1152. Kurt Weitzel is a registered representative and investment advisor representative with and offers securities and advisory services through Commonwealth Financial Network member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor. Weitzel Financial Group, 817 9th Street, Rapid City, South Dakota, 577.
Mark Benetti now alongside you in the broadcast booth. I had a lot of traveling to get under my belt. I had a very short weekend trip to New York to watch my older brother graduate medical school. So I get to now refer to my oldest brother as Dr. Patrick Benetti. I've called him Dr. Older Bro a couple of times. It still hasn't really caught on, but we'll get there, one step at a time. Hardhats coming to the top of the fourth. Back on defense, they have a 10-3 lead over Sioux Falls West. And we'll give you numbers in just a moment as Holden Jackson gears up for John Rogers. And the first pitch is swung on and hit by Justin Kramer in the hole between third and short and into left for a base hit. So Rogers, who started off at second, now moved over to short, gets a leadoff single to kick off the top half of the fourth. Numbers across the board with that hit included. For Sioux Falls West, is 3 runs on 8 hits with 1 error defensively. And on the other side, for the Hardhats, it's 10 runs on 10 hits with no blemishes on defense. So Holden Jackson surrenders a leadoff hit for the second consecutive inning. That's going to bring up Carlos Caro, the left-handed hitting, right-handed throwing pitcher. We have yet to see a first pitch thrown to Caro, as a check down to first isn't in time. And so Jackson looks into Caro and still has yet to throw that first pitch. Caro in the game is 1 for 1. He has a ribby double under his belt on one of the most awkward bounces you will ever see. First pitch he gets from Jackson, a breaking ball, called strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count from Jackson, a nice curveball. Caro is a man on first, nobody out here in the top of the fourth. The Hardhats commanding a 10-3 lead. Jackson a look over at first. And the 0-1. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Jackson just threw a 70th pitch, by the way. He's had quite the pitch count throughout the innings. Looking for his 4th strikeout. It would be his first of Caro. Jackson a glance at first. 0-2, swung on and missed, strike 3. K number 4 for Holden Jackson, his first to Carlos Caro. 1 down with a man on first brings up Kyle Gulbranson, the top of the order. Double play ball in effect to end the inning. Caro didn't look like he had the best swing behind that either. And Holden Jackson caught him with 3 off-speed pitches in a row. So now here comes Gulbranson, 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts to right. First pitch up high for ball 1. Timmy Paris had to fake down to first to make sure John Rogers didn't travel too far off the bag. Looked like he was going to make a break for it at one point. Ball and no strikes to count here to Gobranson. Man on first, 1 out. Next pitch, just missed low and away. And the count is now 2-0 to Gobranson. Alex Fegan is on deck. Should the double play not end the inning, he'll come up. 1 for 2 with a single, and he was thrown out at a play at the plate. That has to make the Sports Center top 10. It was remarkable. 2-0 from Jackson. Swung on, and that ball's hit to third. Kramer gets the stop to second, to 1, to first for 2. No, it just goes wide of Jack Sorensen's glove. And so what could have been a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play is just a 5-4 fielder's choice. So Gobranson is safe at first. Rogers, the lead runner, is out. So it's 2 men down, a man on first. That's going to bring us to Alex Fegan. A throw from Walker Paz just wide of Jack Sorensen's glove, and he's a left-handed catching first baseman, so he had to come across his body to get that one. And no luck on that play. Fegan looks at ball 1 on a breaking pitch low and away. 1-0 the count to the right-handed hitting center fielder. Again, 1 for 2. Was thrown out at home in an 8-6-2 tagout as his next pitch is low. 2-0 now his count. It was a double that was hit by Isaac Nelson at the time. Connor King fields it, throws it into Cooper Bowman, and I swear if you blinked, you would have missed the throw. Bowman gets it to Paris, a great sweep tag. He was out at the plate. 2-0 to Fegan is now a called strike at the knees on a fastball. 2 balls and a strike now the count. If Fegan gets on base, then Brenton Bartles, who took over for Isaac Nelton, who left the game with injury, is on deck. We have yet to see this gentleman bat. 2-1. Low and away. 3 balls and a strike now the count. To the credit of Jackson, he's only walked 1 batter in this contest. Hoping to avoid a second walk, but he is 1 pitch away from issuing it. With a new batter, the now second baseman Bartles on deck. 3-1 is swung on and fouled. That goes into, it was going to go into Rapid Creek. Instead, it went off of the light fixture. And now the count's full. Last time Jackson had a full count to work with, he gave up a solo home run to Isaac Nelson. Jackson has 4 strikeouts through 3 2/3 innings of work. Now he's a pitch away from 5 and from the end of the top half of the 4th. Payoff pitch swung on and it's hit to short. Bowman gets a tough scoop. Throw to first is in time, and that's going to do it. So a 6-3 retires the side and will conclude the top half of the 4th. For Sioux Falls West, it's no runs on a hit with no errors, 1 man left on the base path in scoring position. And at the end of 3.5, we've officially finished half of regulation. The Hardhats have their 10-3 lead still intact and look to blow it open even further in the bottom half of the 4th. Due up for the Hardhats, barring any substitutions, Timmy Parrish, Jack Sorensen, and Zach Sumption. We'll be right back in just a few moments, folks, from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box. You're listening to Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
9.
Trusted Choice Insurance agents are independent agents.
I pledge to be your guide, not only to insurance, but to insurance companies.
They don't actually work for any one insurance company.
And to use my independence to identify the coverage that's best for you.
This means they can customize policies from several companies in ways that other agents just can't. And they commit to that.
And I pledge.
In writing. Trusted Choice. You need an independent insurance agent.
Black Hills Insurance Agency, a tradition of service since 19...
Carlos Caro is still on the mound for Sioux Falls West as we begin the bottom half of the 4th. Hardhats transition from defense to offense, and Timmy Paris will lead off the bottom half of the 4th. If you recall, he ended the bottom half of the 3rd. Cooper Bowman was caught out on the base path, ticked off. And so now Timmy Paris comes back to it. And the first pitch that he sees misses outside. 1-0 his count. Timmy's 0 for 1. He reached on a 4 unassisted fielder's choice. He was walked. Carter Deming was his courtesy runner, came around to score in his stead. 2-0 now the count to Paris. Next pitch low and away. 10-3, the Hardhats have the lead. Paris, next pitch is swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air to the left side of the infield, and making the catch from third is Matt Fegan. So a pop 5 in the scorebook. 1 up, 1 down will bring up Jack Sorensen, the first baseman.
Number 30, Jack Sorensen.
So Jack Sorensen comes into the game. He's 1 for 2. A 2-run RBI single back in the bottom of the second. Came around to score. He popped out to second base his first time up. And he looks at a first pitch ball. 1-0. Sorensen has just developed into one heck of a ball player for this club. As his next pitch is swung on and hit to third, and it goes off of the glove of Fegan and into left. So Sorensen is safe on the base path for a second time in this ball game, and they're going to charge that as another error, a second E5. And that's going to bring up Zach Sumption with a man on first and 1 out. Sumption has a triple and a double in this game. He's 2 for 2 and looks at ball 1 up high from Caro. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. Outside of the home run, he's hit the 2 hardest hits to get the cycle, no? The double and the triple for Sumption.
Yeah.
Definitely the triple. The triple has to be the hardest one. You put enough pop on the ball, anybody can homer, but a triple, that's a rough go. Next pitch is swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air, right center field. And we have a Keystone Cops episode as both gentlemen collide. Zach Sumption comes all the way to third, and a run scores. And both the center fielder and the right fielder, Alex Fegan and Kyle Gulbranson, are both in serious amounts of pain, it looks like. And one of the two gentlemen gets up, looks like the center fielder, Fegan. But right fielder, Kyle Gulbranson, is writhing on the ground. And that does not look good for Sioux Falls West. They've already lost one player to injury. And Tom, that's a case where, we have no idea what their communication's like, but you and I both know, being baseball people, you have to call that play off. One of the two of you has to take charge and either listen to the call and give way to your teammate coming in, or you be assertive enough to tell your teammate to back off.
Well, the old baseball axiom and what they coach a lot of times, the center fielder has the ball. And if he can't get to it, then he'll let his fellow fielder know. But you assume that's the center fielder's ball when they're converging like that.
And on the play, by the way, Sorensen came all the way around to score. Sumption went all the way to third. And still a man down there for Sioux Falls West. And the Rapid City Post 22 trainer is out there to take a look.
Working on his right arm. 4 games here tomorrow. They start at 10 o'clock in the morning with Mountain View, Colorado versus Post 22. 10 a.m. tomorrow for Post 22 baseball here on Hardhats-TV. We will not have that game on ESPN Radio. At 1 o'clock, the Sioux Falls West team will take on Cannon City. At 4 o'clock, Sioux Falls West will play Sioux Falls East. And then at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Albuquerque and Post 22 will have that game on Hardhat-TV and on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
It looks like the fallen gentleman is now up. Still being assessed, of course, but he is up. And that's good to see because, again, Tom, it looked like a pretty crazy collision. I mentioned it was a Keystone Cops episode. They were both tumbling over each other when the collision happened. But nobody, again, look, you and I have no idea what's going on out there with regards to communication, but it just looks like somebody wasn't called off the ball, and that's how any collision's going to happen. That's how any miscue involving two gentlemen converging on one spot will normally come. And they have ruled it a hit, by the way. They did not rule it an error. I think arguments can be made on both sides, to be perfectly honest. But it looks like everybody is all right, and they're going to go back to their respective positions. And that's definitely good to see. Again, Tom, we cite Isaac Nelson and the injury he sustained rounding third. Sioux Falls West has already lost one player. And you'd hate to see them lose a second or a third in this case.
Yeah, Joel Sage, the coach of West, is probably thinking, what in the world is going on here? They didn't have an overly large roster coming into the tournament.
To that point, Tom, I think 5 reserves is all I see on my game sheet here, and they've already used one of them.
Yeah, 14 on their roster. Well, hand it to Gulbranson because he's hanging in there, and they ran him through a few tests out there. He had to walk a tightrope and move a certain direction that the post 22 trainer asked him to move, but apparently they are satisfied that he's A-okay.
And now back to it we go. Justin Kramer, and the first pitch he sees is turned on, and it's down left field. That ball is high, it is far, and it is gone. A 2-run blast on the first pitch Justin Kramer sees. It has left the ball field, and the Hardhats now have a 13-3 lead with 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th.
Well, Kramer's 3rd home run of the season. He's got 4 RBIs in the game and 14 for the season now, and his 3rd home run. And for post 22 now, that is 23 home runs on the season.
And that leads us to Connor King now. So Kramer's 2 for 3, a double, a 2-run home run, and an RBI ground out. Connor King's up 0 for 1, reached on an error and walked. And Caro deals, and a pitch is low and inside. So 2 balls, no strikes the count here to King. Caro, as we mentioned, works very fast. Threw a ball while we were recapping Justin Kramer's line. Next pitch is swung on, and it's hit to second. Bartles makes the stop, and the throw to first is off track and just barely in time. It almost pulled AIDS off of the bag. King would have been safe by about a half an inch, but he is retired. 2 down to bring us back to the top of the order to Walker Paz. So 2 outs. Paz comes up. 2 for 3, a double, an RBI single, 2 runs scored, and a strikeout. And he looks at a first pitch ball that is low. 1-0. Great to see Walker Paz back in a post 22 uniform for this season. 1-0. Swung on, and that's hit foul. Third base side out of play. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. Paz is such a prototypical leadoff hitter because he gets on base. And you look at his stat line this season, his on-base percentage is exactly .500. 14 walks to 5 strikeouts. Well, now 6, including tonight. And he looks at ball 2 outside to push his count to 2-1, but he's so disciplined at the plate. 2-1 from Caro, quickly back to it, misses low for ball 3. 3-1 now the count to the Hardhats second baseman with Zach Solano patiently waiting in the on-deck circle. 13-3 now the Hardhats lead, 2 outs, nobody on, bottom of the 4th. And the next pitch misses low and away, and that will be walk number 15 that has been handed out to Walker Paz. So 15 walks to 5 strikeouts. That's a healthy ratio, 3 walks to a strikeout.
Especially when you're hitting in that leadoff spot. I mean, that's Walker, as you said, when he got back to the team, he certainly gave the offense a boost.
Solano's first pitch swung on and missed. Got ahead of an off-speed breaking ball. 0-1 the count to Solano, who on the ball game is 1 for 3. An RBI single, and then a fielder's choice and a pop out to short in foul territory. Caro, a check down to first, keeps Paz tethered to the bag. It's not there in time. Should Solano be the final out, it's 3, 4, and 5 due up for Sioux Falls West as we go to the top of the 5th. Next pitch rides high on Solano, ball 1. 1-1 the count. And should that score hold at the end of that frame, that would be the conclusion of the ball game through 5 innings in this 7 innings of regulation. Check down to first, not there again. Paz is safe. Got to credit Caro. He's thrown 92 pitches. He's seen quite the workload tonight for Sioux Falls West. After a series of pickoff attempts, a 1-1 is low, but it's blocked by Simonson, the catcher. 2 balls and a strike now the count. Cooper Bowman is on deck. He's had a monster day. A 2-run RBI double, a run scored, a single, and a walk. He was, however, picked off. Next pitch to Solano, a strike at his letters. 2 balls, 2 strikes now the count. As Caro is looking to get out of this inning with only 3 runs allowed. Check down to first now there in time again. As it stands for the Hardhats, it's 3 runs on 2 hits with an error charged to Sioux Falls West. 2-2. Swung on, and that ball is drilled high in the air to left field. That ball is high, it is far, and it is foul by a foot. Oh my goodness, that had to be the most nerve-wracking wait to see the umpire signal, but instead of circling his finger around, he waves his arms and poor Zach Solanos to step back in the batter's box.
Zach just missed it. You can't get any closer than that. Not hit a home run.
And he absolutely drilled that ball too. Just torched it. So now we do this dance again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Caro deals low and away. Simonson, another big block to keep pause at first, and now the count's full. Zach Solano, by the way, that would have been number 5 if it was about a foot fair to the right of the left field foul pole. Payoff pitch is low for ball 4. So Zach Solano draws a 2-out walk. Walker paused, now in scoring position on second. That's going to bring up the flaming hot Cooper Bowman. 2 for 2 in the ball game already, a ribby double, and it looks like we have a major conference coming on the mound. Joel Sage, the head coach of Sioux Falls West, coming out to talk to his players, and it looks like the evening of Carlos Caro has come to its conclusion after 97 pitches and 3 2/3 innings of work.
Looks like Dylan Ryan is the new pitcher.
Well, we'll give Mr. Ryan a couple of seconds to warm up as the Sioux Falls West Club turns now to a left-handed pitcher. We'll be back in just a few moments. Cooper Bowman to face Dylan Ryan here on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Some folks say it doesn't matter how you get the job done, as long as it gets done. To us, however, we won't be satisfied unless performance is coupled with integrity. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
Well, Dylan Ryan now takes over for Carlos Caro, who went 97 pitches in 3 2/3 innings of work. He allowed 12 hits and 13 runs, only 11 of which were earned. 4 walks to a strikeout, and now he gives way to number 16, Dylan Ryan, who comes in for his 5th appearance of the season, all of which have been by virtue of relief. 8 innings of work under his belt, 11 strikeouts to 8 walks, and a 1.75 ERA. Tom, you were mentioning for the lefty, it looked like he had some control problems early on, started to settle in. That's why they call them warm-up pitches.
Well, they have a special rule in the tournament, too. They allow the pitcher coming into a game only 8 initial warm-up pitches, which I didn't know they allowed them more than that to begin with, but that's what they have in the tournament. Pitchers are given only 5 warm-up pitches between half innings.
Oh, wow.
And they say in bold print they are enforcing that.
Well, I can't tell the difference. I'm just going to nod my head and agree with it. First pitch to Cooper Bowman, a called strike from Dylan Ryan, the lefty. 0-1 the count here to Bowman. 2 for 2, a walk, a 2-run RBI double, and a single as well as a run scored. Ryan likes to take his time on the mound. He's pitching from the stretch, and the 0-1 misses outside. Will even out Bowman's count to a ball and strike. Bowman has 2 men on the base path to try and knock in. Walker Paz, the most immediate threat in scoring position. He's on second. Zach Solano's on first. Both gentlemen gain their passage with 2 out walks. 1-1. Swung on, and that ball is ripped up the middle into center field for a base hit. Walker Paz gets the green light. He is rounding third. He's going to come in, and he is up easy, as they say in the dugout, for a score. A 2-out RBI single for Cooper Bowman, and the Hardhats now have a 14-3 lead over Sioux Falls West. 2 men on the base path to bring up Eric Petrie.
Well, this might be Eric's last chance to get a hit and extend his 13-game hitting streak. He is 0 for 3.
First pitch to Petrie is a strike. No, I'm sorry, it's ball up high. I thought I heard strike. I should just stick to looking at the umpire for a signal. 1-0 the count here to Petrie. 2 men on the base path to worry about as well. 1-0 from the lefty Ryan. Swung on and missed. A big cut. And the count evens up to 1-1. He wanted to tear the cover off that ball with that swing. 1-1 from Ryan. Swung on, and that ball's hit high in the air, right center field. It has some legs on it, and that ball is going to drop and go all the way to the wall. Eric Petrie is on second with a stand-up double. Both runs come in. A 2-run, 2-out RBI double for Eric Petrie. The hit streak is now at 14 consecutive games, and the Hardhats' lead is now at 16-3.
I'll tell you, anybody who doesn't believe me about how the ball is carrying tonight, that looked like kind of a routine fly ball to medium deep right center field, but it carried all the way just to the right of the 393 sign again, and Petrie has a 2-run double.
The hit streak intact now brings up Timmy Paris, the gentleman who started off this whole inning, and he looks at ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Paris, looking to switch places with Petrie. This is the second time in the game, by the way, that the Hardhats have batted through the entire lineup in an inning. The other was back in the second. 1-0 to Paris, rides high, 2 balls, no strikes to count. So both Eric Petrie and Zach Sumption extend their hitting streaks. Petrie most recently with a double to 14 games. Zach Sumption with a triple in his first at-bat to extend to 11. 2-0. That's a called strike at the belt of Paris. He thought about taking a crack and held back. 2-1 the count. And it looks like we're going to have a brief meeting between Jack Simonson, the catcher, and Dylan Ryan, the pitcher.
We'll be on the air shortly before 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday, tomorrow morning, for the Post-22 game with Mountain View. You can watch it or listen to it on Hardhat-TV via post22baseball.com. We will not have the morning game on radio. We will have it on the evening game, Albuquerque and Post-22 at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, both on Hardhat-TV. And we'll return on ESPN Radio tomorrow night at 7.
2-1 to Paris after the conference, and that rides inside for ball 3. 3-1 on the count to the Hardhats catcher. Now, just shy of a 10 a.m. start tomorrow. Who's bringing the donuts up here? Who's bringing the donuts and coffee? Is that me or Destin? I have to say Destin. You gotta get the rookies involved here. Maybe some bagels. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. 3-1 to Paris, misses outside for ball 4. Another walk with 2 outs. Men are on first and second, and that brings us to Jack Sorensen.
Not me.
Destin's trying to create excuses here. I guess I'll just take it upon myself. I'll bring a dozen donuts tomorrow.
Well, there's only 3 of us.
Yeah, that's 4 donuts a person.
My Lord, how come you don't weigh about 50 pounds more?
So I have a good metabolism.
I'll grant you that.
Sorensen with men on first and second and 2 outs, and the first pitch is way outside from Ryan. 1-0 the count here to Sorensen. He's 1 for 3, a 2-run RBI single under his belt. He's also popped out to second, and he reached on an error. Twice in the game, he's come around to score. And he comes back up once again with 2 outs. Second time he's seen the batter's box in this inning. 1-0 from Ryan. Swung on and the ball's hit up the middle. Bartles, though, gets the stop, and then he bobbles the ball. Safe at second is Carter Deming, who came in to pinch run for Timmy Paris. Bases are loaded. That's going to bring up another red-hot gentleman in Zach Sumption, who has 2 triples in this ballgame.
Well, there's an error, the third of the game on Sioux Falls, and boy, they have just struggled here tonight. They struggled last night. Be interesting to see their 2 games tomorrow against Cannon City and Sioux Falls East, how they do.
Absolutely agree with that, Tom. No doubt about it. Zach Sumption looks at ball 1 for his first pitch. 3 for 3. Batting 1,000 in this game, a pair of triples and a double. Here comes the 1-0. Swung on and he rips that into left field for a base hit. That is at least going to score 2. And the ball trickles off the left fielder, Crow. It goes all the way into left. It still will only score 2. Everybody's going to advance. So if I had to score that, I'd say that's a single, an RBI single for Zach Sumption, and he advances on an error. And that now makes the Hardhats lead 18-3 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th in an inning that seems to have just gone on for forever.
Yeah, Sioux Falls is. I mean, they're just like they don't want to be here again. Right at this stage of the game, they've had a couple of collisions. They've had their best player go out with an injury.
Kramer looks at a first pitch strike. He just came off of a 2-run home run in this inning, and looks at ball 1 from Ryan to even his count up at 1-1. 2 for 3 is Kramer, and a double, an RBI ground out, then the 2-run home run we just talked about. He's come around to score twice. 2 men in scoring position for him. Full windup now for Ryan, 1-1, and that misses outside, 2 balls and a strike. And it's unfortunate if we can point that out from up here, Tom, because you never want to think that that is the case, that someone's just given way. You like to think you're watching 2 competing teams here. 2-1. High and inside, 3 balls and a strike now to Justin Kramer.
West hasn't won a state championship since 2007 was the last time they won. They've won one other in their history when they split the Sioux Falls teams. 2003, they also won the state title, so they have won a couple.
Here's the 3-1 to Kramer, and that misses low for ball 4. So the walk will now load up the bases. Keep in mind, folks, we still have 2 outs here. It seems like we've been on 2 outs for actually a full cycle of batters, because we come up to Connor King, and Connor King was the second out of this inning. And now he has the bases loaded and a chance to just keep this going even further. An 18-3 Hardhats lead here in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch he sees is a called strike at his knees. 0-1 the count to King. He is 0 for 2. A walk, a run scored. He reached on an error and grounded out to second. But again, he was the second out of this inning. And everybody's come up to bat at least once since then. 0-1. Rides high on King. Count evens up at 1-1. It's crazy to think about. It's been that long since the second out.
Makes you crazy to think about it.
Full windup now for Ryan. He's got the bases juiced. 1-1 to King. That pitch misses low. 2 balls and a strike. And it looks like we're going to have another brief conference between Simonson, the catcher, and Ryan on the mound. King, by the way, totally forgot a piece of equipment to guard his ankle from foul balls. Eric Petrie, being a good teammate, hands it out to him from the dugout. And then he says, you know what? I don't need that. And he throws it right back. All that for nothing. Either that or it was the wrong size or the wrong piece of gear. 2-1. Hits him. And Connor King will trot to first with a welt and a run knocked in. And it is now 19-3. And we go back to the top of the order to Walker Paz. And he's already walked in this inning. Although Walker will not come out. The role of Walker Paz will now be played by Tommy Wall. So Tommy Wall comes out with the bases juiced to 2 outs. And it's a 19-3 lead for the Hardhats. First pitch from Wall is a dribbler to third. Stop is made on the play by Fegan. Throw to first is in time. A nice stab by Aids, and that is going to do it. 5-3 in the scorebook ends a marathon for the Hardhats. 8 runs scored in the inning for Post 22. They have expanded their lead to 19-3 over Sioux Falls West, and they are 3 outs away from calling this one early against their cross-state adversary. We'll be right back in just a few moments, folks, with the top half of the 5th. And Trey Eberline taking over pitching duties for the Hardhats. We'll return in just a few moments here on ESPN Radio Rapid City, the official radio home of Post 22 Hardhats baseball.
Camping World is here to help you connect to adventure and explore the outdoors with friends and family, offering new and pre-owned RVs to fit every budget and thousands of parts and accessories for any need. Camping World has it all. With over 125 supercenters nationwide, you're never far from America's #1 RV dealer. No matter where your adventures take you, whether you need an RV, parts, or service, Camping World is here to help you every step of the way. Visit Camping World in Rapid City or shop campingworld.com today.
Stat line from that bottom half of the 4th for the Hardhats. It was 9 runs on 5 hits with a pair of errors charged to Sioux Falls West. They now have 4 in the ballgame. And now the Hardhats are 3 outs away from calling this one early. And taking over pitching duties for Post 22 now is number 27, Trey Eberline. Eberline comes in 13 2/3 innings of work under his belt. It's his 9th appearance of the season and his 8th by virtue of relief. He has a 1-0 record under his belt, 12 strikeouts to 9 walks, and a 1.537 ERA. And something to point out about Trey, Tom, he's such a tall individual, a downward motion on his pitches, absolutely crucial for him to see success on the mound. First pitch that he throws is to Brenton Bartles, playing at second, and it's a ball to lead off the top half of the 5th. 1-0 the count here to Bartles. And the 1-0 is a fastball up high, 2-0. Numbers across the board through 4 for the Hardhats. It's 19 runs, 15 hits, no errors. For Sioux Falls West, 3 runs on 8 hits with 4 blemishes on defense. 2-0's an off-speed pitch called a strike at the belt of Bartles. 2-1 now the count. This is the first time Bartles has seen the batter's box. He came in for Isaac Nelson, who left the game with an injury, rounding third base. Next pitch is swung on, and it's fisted foul first base side. And the count evens up at deuces. It'll be Brenton Bartles, followed by Jack Simonson, and then Carter Aids, barring any substitutions from Joel Sage and Sioux Falls West. Trey Eberline looking for his first strikeout and his first batter faced. 2-2, misses way outside, and the count goes full. Eberline came in for Holden Jackson, who went 4 innings. Allowed 8 hits, 3 runs. Payoff pitch. Missed low and away, ball 4. So Eberline walks the first batter that he sees to now bring up Jack Simonson. 1 walk was issued by Holden Jackson with 4 strikeouts to his credit. So a man on first, nobody out. Simonson now up. 1 for 1 with a solo home run back at the top of the 1st and a walk. My, how things have changed. It was 2-0 Sioux Falls West at one point on back-to-back homers. First pitch from Eberline. Called strike at the knees. Inside corner. 0-1 the count.
Now that seems about 5 years ago.
No kidding. 2 marathon innings thrown in there for the Hardhats on offense. Really drug this game out. No balls and a strike, the count to Simonson. Eberline from the stretch. 0-1, misses way outside. Ball and a strike, now the count. Carter Aids is on deck. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Post 22 in the driver's seat. 19-3 is their lead. 2 9-run innings in this ballgame. In the 2nd and in the 4th. 1-1. Swung on, and that ball is hit by a diving Carter Deming, a defensive substitution at third, and out into left. And it looks like the ball skips away from Zach Sumption, so everybody's going to advance an extra base. So that should be a single and an error charged to Sumption. And Simonson now in scoring position at second. Bartles makes his way to third. And now Carter Aids comes up to the batter's box with nobody out and 2 men within scoring range. Don't think they've ruled that an error either, so I guess the Hardhats will stay unblemished on defense. First pitch to Aids. Called strike on an off-speed pitch, 0-1 the count. Matt Fegan is on deck. He has struck out twice in this contest. No balls to strike the count here to Aids. He has men on second and third and no one out here in the top of the fifth. Eberline a quick glance around the bases. 0-1 misses low and away, and the count evens up at 1-1. Bartles is on third. Simonson's on second. 1-1 from Eberline. Fastball missed outside, 2-1. Eberline is only the second pitcher the Hardhats have used. Two balls and a strike, the count here to Aids. And Eberline from the stretch deals. Outside, 3 balls and a strike. And he is one pitch away from issuing his second base on balls. And I know, Tom, you had written about that this weekend. And you're absolutely right. They have to limit bases on balls here as pitching staff. Eberline deals 3-1. And that is ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And now Coach Hers is going to come out and have a quick word here with number 27 on the mound.
You know, the core of the pitching staff, Kyle McGuire, Colton Sherbinski, and Riley McSherry have pitched very well for the most part. And as we mentioned in the pregame, Mark, Tommy Wall really did an outstanding job out of the bullpen in Denver, throwing 4 1/3 hitless shutout innings in relief. But the other pitchers have had moments when they've been very good. But they've also had moments when they've struggled with their control. They're not being able to get ahead of hitters. They're giving up too many hits in a lot of instances. Some of the pitchers have teams batting over 300 against them.
So now Fegan comes up with the bases loaded and nobody out. First pitch from Eberline is swung on, and that ball is drilled into left. Sumption is underneath it. He's charging. He makes the catch. Tagging up from third is Bartles. He is not going to go. And so everybody holds on to their respective bases. They are still loaded. One down will bring up Mason Crow.
Well, there's an instance. There's no way Zach Sumption's throwing out that runner coming home from third base, but the coach at third base has been so... he guessed wrong his first time, and then he guessed wrong on the second time. So, boy, it's been a struggle for Sioux Falls to get guys home from third base in this game.
Mason Crow, first pitch he sees is low and inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Crow on the ball game 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly out to center field to Connor King. Coincidentally enough, that flyout came with the bases loaded and it ended the top half of the third. Wouldn't necessarily end the inning here if it happened again. 1-0 misses low. 2-0. Eberline dangerously close to a third base on balls issued. There's a point I'd like to make about that too. We'll get to it after the next pitch. 2-0 the count here from Eberline to Mason Crow. Bases are loaded, 1 out here in the top of the fifth. Hardhats just need 2 outs, and that's it. And Eberline steps off the rubber and takes time. The 4 pitchers that you mentioned, McGuire, Sherbinski, Wall, McSherry, their strikeout to walk ratio is exactly 148. And so the key pitchers are the ones limiting those bases on balls, but still 48 bases on balls between 4 pitchers. That's a lot. 2-0 swung on and missed. And now the count to Crow is 2-1.
Well, and a good way to try to figure that out is how many innings is those 4 pitchers combined for? And you got the 48 walks.
2 balls and a strike the count. And Eberline full windup deals. Breaking pitch that doesn't break down. 3 balls and a strike now the count.
You're pitching a 7-inning ball game. You don't want to give up more than 3 walks a game. I mean, if you give 3, that's acceptable. You'd like to see it at 2, but 3 isn't bad. But post 22 is averaging, I think it's almost 5.5.
Next pitch from Eberline, low and inside, ball 4. So that's an RBI walk for Mason Crow. And bases remain loaded. That's going to bring out John Rogers. All of this still coming with 1 out here in the top of the 5th. The Hardhats just need 2 outs, and they're out of this one. But right now it is 19-4 is their lead. First pitch from Eberline. Called strike at the knees of Rogers. He's behind 0-1.
Look at the 8 and 9 hitters tonight for Sioux Falls, Mark. 3 for 4, a double, 2 singles, a run scored, an RBI.
And that could be even more with bases loaded here and only 1 out. Here's the 0-1. Rogers looks at strike 2 on an off-speed pitch at his knees. 0-2 the count, so good on Eberline to fire right back. Next pitch is swung on, and that's hit by a diving Cooper Bowman into left for a base hit. So on an 0-2 pitch, it's a 1-out RBI single for John Rogers. He keeps the inning going, and it is now 19-5. The Hardhats still in the driver's seat, but again, Tom, you look at 8-9 like you just brought up. Now they're 4 for 5, a trio of singles, a pair of RBI hits, and a run scored to boot. That's definitely not something you'd like to see from a pitching staff, giving up that kind of offensive firepower to 8-9. So now that brings us up to 9. And a pinch hitter in Dylan Ryan taking over now. The relief pitcher that came in for Carlos Caro, he looks at strike 1. 0-1 the count. 0-1, another called strike. Just like that, Ryan is behind 0-2. Dylan Ryan on the season, just 3 at-bats for Sioux Falls. And his 0-2 is low. Ball and 2 strikes to count. He has a 0 batting average with runners in scoring position, although that's a very small sample size. On the season, he has a 0 batting average. That doesn't really do him any favors. 1-2. Caught him looking, strike 3. Off-speed pitch at his knees. First strikeout from Trey Eberline. 2 down, bases are still juiced. Back to the top we go to Kyle Gulbranson. So the Hardhats 1 out away from winning their first game of the Superior Siding Black Hills Classic. First pitch. Low and inside, ball 1 to Gulbranson. Gulbranson on the game is 0 for 3. Reached on a 5-4 fielder's choice that should have been a 5-4-3 double play, but the throw to first was wide. He has a pair of flyouts to Zach Solano sitting in right. 1-0. That's low and away. 2 balls, no strikes. So 2 balls, no strikes to count from Eberline to Gulbranson. Bases are loaded for him. 2-0, rides inside and low. 3-0. We've already had 3 base on balls issued by Eberline. 1 of them knocked in a run. He's a pitch away from doing it again. Three balls, no strikes to count. Eberline looking to just hit the strike zone to keep this at-bat going. And the 3-0 is a called strike at the knees. Fastball makes it 3-1. Bases are juiced for Gulbranson. Aids is at third, Crow's at second, Rogers at first. 2 outs. The Hardhats need 1 more to end the ball game with a 19-5 win. 3-1, up high, ball 4, and it's another RBI base on balls. So still 2 down, and that will bring us to the 9th batter of the inning, and Alex Fegan. That's the 4th one in this inning, Tom. So Fegan comes up, 1 for 3. He has a single under his belt. Fly out to center, a ground out to short. Eberline, 4 bases on balls. In relief, 2 of them have knocked in a run. First pitch, swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. That now brings the score 19-6, still in favor of the Hardhats. Oh, 0-1 the count. Eberline does have a strikeout in this inning. But it's 1 strikeout to 4 walks. 0-1. Low and inside, ball and strike.
Sioux Falls has collected 10 hits in the game, and we're in the 5th inning. So they've swung the bats tonight.
1-1. Swung on, and it's a weak ball to third. Kramer comes and charges. Scoop, throw to first in time, and that will end the ball game. The Hardhats take this one 19-6, although, Tom, we could have seen that deficit a little higher had it not been for a couple of free passes and even an error or 2 in this inning as well.
So Post 22 goes to 23-3 on the season, and Sioux Falls West drops to 5 wins and 8 losses on the season. Post 22 winning by a score of 19-6. Mark and I will be back, wrap this one up, look at the totals and highlights when we return from the Anytime Auto Sales Press Box. Post 22 Baseball on ESPN Radio, Rapid City.
Some folks say it doesn't matter how you get the job done, as long as it gets done. To us, however, we won't be satisfied unless performance is coupled with integrity. Black Hills Insurance, a tradition of service since 1949.
Seems so long ago, Mark, that Sioux Falls got back-to-back home runs from Isaac Nelson and Jack Simonson in the first inning to take a 2-0 lead over the Hardhats and Holden Jackson, but Post 22 came back with a run in the first, RBI single from Solano, and then 9 runs scoring in the second inning, and then 9 more runs scoring in the fourth inning for Post 22. 19 total runs in the game, and you look at the leading hitter, Zach Sumption, who had 2 triples, a double, a 2-run single, 4 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. Not a bad night's work.
No, definitely not a bad night's work, although I feel terrible that he couldn't hit for the cycle. That would have been something special to watch, because he ended up getting the single in his last at-bat. If he had gone the final base, with all the commotion that happened on the collision in center field, he would have had the inside the park home run. We could have called it the cycle, but they stopped him at third, and unfortunate to see that it didn't get that far. But nonetheless, this Post 22 team time, it looked really slow at the start. Before you know it, they get in the second inning, and they go through 13 batters in that frame. 9 runs on 7 hits, and what more can you say from there? Outside of you take a look at the pitching performance from the Hardhats, and you'd like to see some things change with respect to the bullpen. Holden Jackson came out. He pitched the first 4 out of 5 innings, and he went 4 strikeouts to a walk. But Trey Eberline pitched the last inning, and he went 4 walks to a strikeout. So we talked earlier about how that ratio across the board needs to change, and here's hoping that the Hardhats just got it out of their system for this game, and when they play tomorrow morning at 10 against Mountain View, they're rocking and rolling and firing on all cylinders on the mound.
Both Eric Petrie and Zach Sumption extended their hitting streaks tonight. Petrie extended his to 14 games in a row with his double to right center in the fourth inning. And then Zach, of course, had 4 hits, extending his hitting streak to 11 games. So Post 22 winning with 19 runs, 15 hits, no errors, 6 runs, 10 hits, and 4 errors for Sioux Falls. I was interested to see how Sioux Falls West would be comparing with Sioux Falls East. Going into the season, from what we've been told, that East supposedly had the better team, and East won their game over Albuquerque today 13-3. So we'll take a look at Sioux Falls East. We'll play them on Saturday night here at 7 o'clock, but we have a full slate of games tomorrow At 10 a.m., Mountain View, Colorado will take on Post 22 right here at Fitzgerald Stadium. Mark and I will be on Hardhats-TV for that broadcast. We will not have that game on ESPN Radio. And that, again, is a 10 o'clock start. At 1 o'clock here at Fitzgerald Stadium, Sioux Falls West playing Cannon City, Colorado. At 4 o'clock, Sioux Falls West will take on Sioux Falls East. And then at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, both on Hardhat-TV, back on ESPN Radio, Albuquerque, who lost 2 games today, will play the Hardhats at 7 o'clock. Albuquerque also lost to Colorado Springs today, 9-3, after losing to Sioux Falls East 13-3. Over at Pete Leanfield, don't have a final in the Mountain View Post 320 game tonight, but Cannon City beat Upper Deck in 9 innings, 6-5.
Oh, full slate of baseball tomorrow. Full slate of baseball for the next 10 days after that. We're gonna be hanging out a lot together, you and I. Should be something.
I never looked at it from that perspective before.
You know, I'm surprised you don't go insane about 2.5 hours a night. You're trapped in a room with me. Not necessarily a secluded room. We do have other people in here, and we have open windows. So if you really were driven that insane, you could jump out the window if you wanted to. But we're going to be seeing quite a lot of each other these next couple of nights.
We have other people in our room? What do you mean by that?
Our production staff. We got good old Destin sitting next to us, so we're not in a completely secluded room. So I guess I can't totally drive you insane while we're together here.
No, but you get a double. You can drive both of us insane.
Yeah, see, even better. Double trouble over there. Well, thanks for everything, Tom. We will see you bright and early in the morning. Destin's going to bring donuts. We'll be all set for our matchup tomorrow.
Wait. I thought you said you were going to bring the donuts.
I guess I can bring the
donuts. No, wait a second. In fact, we can go back on the tape of the game and listen when you said, yes, I'm bringing donuts tomorrow. I'm bringing 12 donuts, in which I asked you, why are you bringing 12?
I thought I could get away with it. You caught me. All right. Well, and by the way, I am bringing 12 because that means each of us get 4. So calling it a win at that point. Should be a fun time tomorrow.
Good night, Mark.
That's enough of me digging myself a hole. Good night, Tom. Thank you so much. For Tom Rudabush and our director, Destin Human, this is Mark Vanetti saying so long and good night. We will see you tomorrow morning, our 10 a.m. matchup against Mountain View here at the Fitz.